Hey guys, I'm Finch here, and welcome to something a little bit, well, more idle chat about digital homicide. Anyway, so up here, I've been doing some digging, and so up here we have the digital homicide page where it's sort of talking about seeking legal representation. This is the document that I went through a couple of days ago, or yesterday, I think. I don't know. Anyway. So here we have 3 pieces of evidence. These are examples of why digital homicide feel the need to sue some of these people, as well as the reason why they feel the need to sue Valve over Steam. And quite a lot of it is to do with a lawsuit recently filed solely in regards to individuals when no resolution was able to be obtained from Steam to provide a safe environment for us to conduct business. By removing us for defending ourselves against harassment, Steam is openly stating you cannot defend yourself from examples like these. Now, I feel that context is worth quite a lot, especially when you're dealing with something as complicated as a legal case. So when you start throwing around screenshots, which have obviously been cut off to remove any important information, then I start to worry a little about the validity of... Do you mean validity? Yes, validity of these examples. This was the one that really bugged me, weirdly. You can see that it's been obviously cut off down the bottom. All the Y's are missing them, the bottom bits there, and so this has obviously been torn out of the paragraph. Now, when trying to search for this text, you actually come up with, you can only access the cached page, which is this one. So this is actually cached. So this was deleted, probably due to the digital homicide purge. But this was posted on the 11th of May by Flux, who is one of the people, one of the original 11 names that have been included in this subpoena that's going to the judge, that might end up on Valve's doorstep for, giving them the names, the sort of identifiable information. So this is just a person who's saying that this game is yet another reskin of one of their games, and he's not particularly happy with the business practices that they're going on over. Now, maybe the language is a little bit aggressive in places, but this is the sort of thing that you'll get. And anyway, this isn't too bad, all in all. This isn't necessarily harassment when you just use it on its own. And when the documents are talking a lot about things like stalking, harassment, lack of moderation tools, all of these sorts of things, just taking things in context, it's really, really important. And when you've actually got all of the information there, when you've got that entire post, suddenly it doesn't actually look that bad. And even the original snippet there, it's not bad, I don't think. It's actually quite a passive way of insulting someone. It's, yeah, as insults go, that's actually quite, chill almost. So anyway, let's bounce back up to this. This one, yeah, it is harassment, but this is the sort of over-the-top aggressive comments that you will get on this sort of these sorts of pages, and you'll get it all over the place. You'll get it all over the internet. This is something reasonably bog standard. Now, the best thing to do with these sorts of people is to just delete the thread. Why they left it on, I don't know, but there's other things that don't add up with this thread. So you've got showing 1 to 6 of 6 comments. That looks like it's number 1, that looks like it's number 2. That looks like an awfully long number. That looks like a 3-digit number. So how on earth did that comment get there? Now, I'm not saying that this has been doctored. What I would say is that potentially this thread has been heavily trimmed, but I don't know where this actually came from. There is very little context for it. Now, I haven't done a deep search into Google for it. You can't necessarily find everything. But, I don't know, maybe with a little bit of digging we can actually find out, when I've got some time, I can actually find out where that's actually from. But this one was the other one that really interested me, because part of this is Digital Homicide are basically telling Valve that their moderation tools are not adequate. Now, the way that moderation tools work on a lot of these forums is that if a developer has a forum on Steam, then they are able to moderate those forums, unless, and this is the big unless they have done something to flag them up as abusing those tools, such as using those tools to delete reviews or to delete criticism from their forums. In those circumstances, a developer might actually lose the ability to moderate their forums or to moderate the reviews that are put up, which is fair enough. Now, something they are not able to do is moderate other people's forums. So, for example, a group like this one, which is made up of loads of people, but anyway, this is the Digital Homicides Steam group, and this is sort of more of buyer beware sort of group. They flag up dodgy games that have ended up on Steam or on Greenlight. This isn't necessarily just following Digital Homicide, but that's the level of game that ends up in these forums, and it's quite an interesting read. Things like, the asset pack info thread, where they go through all sorts of stuff. Asset packs that have been, like the Unit Z. Unit Z is quite infamous for being bought. The asset pack is basically bought. It's put into Unity for about 5 seconds to kind of set everything up, and then it's put on Steam and sold as a final product. And this has happened several times. Now, something that you may not know about Unit Z is actually Unit Z came from Unturned, not the other way around. Unturned was made first, then the Unit Z people came in. Because Unturned was being made with a free version of Unity, they were able to rip the assets out of Unturned and then put that into an asset pack and sell it quite legitimately. Weird, eh? And then what came from that is a load of essentially Unturned clones using the Unit Z asset pack. But anyway, and so on and so forth. So there's some quite interesting stuff here. But what is quite interesting here is the members page, because if you just look over that, you might see some names that look a little bit familiar if you've been through the subpoena documents. So this guy, Brandino, has been named on the subpoenas. Carl Pilkington is another one, and Gunner was another one as well. There's probably more on here, but what this has actually shown is that what Digital Homicide want, and I need to go to that one, what Digital Homicide seem to want from, as an outcome, is developers to be able to censor other forums, because I suspect that this one was from the Digital Homicides page, not from a Digital Homicide product page. So they would have no right to moderate any of these comments because this is not on their forums. And thus, why on earth would they have any right to set the rules for someone else's forums? Yeah. So, and ultimately, if you're going looking for this sort of thing, it's kind of self-inflicted. That's just my opinion for it. But I'll do more of this sort of thing as and when I can go digging and see if I can find some more information on this. So far, it does look absolutely ridiculous. You know, when they're talking about not having the proper moderation tools, they do. They have the proper moderation tools as long as they haven't been exploiting them in previous occasions. It's just that they do not have the moderation tools to moderate other people's forums. So, thank you very much for watching this little video, and I'll see you next time.